So, just to introduce myself, my name is Alana Gomez. I'm a student at UF working on my honors thesis with Black Thursday. This is a recording for the Samuel Proctor Oral History Program, and it is March 4th at 11:06 a.m. And Dr. Stewart, if you want to just introduce yourself.
My name is Betty Stewart-Fullwood. I'm retired from the University of Florida after working there for 35 years.
Okay, thank you. And so you were a part of the Black Thursday protests, and the purpose of this interview is to talk about how we commemorate protests like this and how we remember these events. So, in your opinion, how should this event be commemorated at UF?
Okay, I think that it should be definitely acknowledged by the total University of Florida community, not just Black students or faculty or staff. I think it was a great event. Even at the time, it may not have seemed like a great event, but it was a great event that helped to establish where the university is right now and where it's hopefully going in the future.
Mhm. And what has commemoration looked like over the years? Has UF done anything for Black Thursday, even a year after? What did that look like?
We didn't really do anything, I don't think, a year after, or even maybe a couple of years after that. It was always a day of remembrance of those who were a part of it. And we attempted to let others know that come after us. But the biggest commemoration of it was in 2006. The students there kicked off Black History Month with a tribute to Black Thursday.
Mhm. And how come this came about in 2006?
I guess it was just the students that were there and their mindset of wanting to give some kind of acknowledgement to those who had come before them.
So it was planned by students at the Black Student Union?
Correct.
Okay. And in your opinion, in terms of commemoration and taking down the names of buildings, what do you think about the O'Connell Center and how students want that name to be taken down?
Well, I think, is it still called the O'Connell Center?
hmm
Oh, okay. Because I thought it was Exact Tech Arena or whatever.
Yeah, it is, I guess, technically that, but it still says the O'Connell Center and is also referred to it that way.
Well, there was some heart-wrenching going on with that naming of the building itself. Initially, I remember being on panels and discussions with students and faculty and staff in regards to that. And what I had to, I guess, settle in my mind is you can, to forgive, but not necessarily forget the things that happened under him, because that was just the way things were at that time. That was the way that society viewed integration, desegregation. And he was doing no more than what was expected of him at that time. And I think times changed. I'm not sure. I didn't speak with him afterwards to find out whether or not he had a change of heart or whatever. But I had to choose to forgive and to move on. I couldn't just continue to hate him for well, what you did, and you go back and forth, and that's not healthy. So I know that there was another student at the time that was involved with student government. His name was Thaddeus Bullard. He's now with WWE Pro Wrestling. I think it has a lot of different philanthropies in Tampa. And we had a conversation on it, and we just said, you can't hold on to stuff like that. You just got to let it go.
And when was, you said at the time, when was this? Was this when you were already a professor or when you were still a student?
This was as a professor, yes, when the O'Connell Center was initially built and being named. I can't remember now when it was finished. I can't remember those dates.
So was there a large kind of bringing to arms from students at that time, or more of
Yeah, there were, because people read the history and they knew what he had stood for, but he stood for the same thing that other white men of power stood for back then. So it wasn't anything different. He didn't stand in the, in the doors with a gun or have dogs sicked on people or whatever as far as integration was concerned. Uh,
Mhm.
but it was more peaceful, I would say, at Florida than it was at a lot of other places.
Mhm. Yeah. And then what do you think about not the fact that Black Thursday isn't commemorated necessarily with an exhibit or even a plaque at Tiger? Do you think that's something that should happen so other students are aware of it?
I mean, that would be good. That would be great. I know that we're working on a wall exhibit in the Rights Union, and I'm sure some images probably from Black Thursday will be on that wall.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm not sure. There are not any exhibits or pictures that I can think of that are in the Union. I haven't been all the way through the Union with renovation, but I've seen some pictures near the elevators
Mhm.
of events, and I don't remember seeing Black Thursday depicted there.
Yeah. And so this wall, is it for Black Thursday or
No,
after?
the wall is just to depict Black involvement at the University of Florida. And I
Mhm.
think it's going to be over there near the auditorium.
Okay. Mhm.
So we're still working on pieces of that and how it's going to look. But
And
it's
who's
faculty and staff.
okay, yeah, I was gonna ask whose project is it? Who is kind of running it?
Yeah, it's through the university. I'm not sure. Mr. Eddie Daniels can tell you more information
Mhm.
about that.
Mhm. And what do you think about the way UF educates about Black Thursday? Do you think it's enough? Do you think it's something that should be highlighted more upon?
Well, I was looking through some articles and I've found different articles that have been done throughout the years. So there have been um, commemorations or acknowledgments of it throughout the years, through the Alligator, through UF News. I think UF Today did a piece on it. I looked it up. I found it in my archives. 2006, spring 2006. They did an article, the Today magazine.
Mhm.
So it was orange, black, and blue.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if you can find that, you'll find a lot of information.
And that was something UF did?
Correct.
Okay. And what publication was that again?
It's called Today magazine. It's University of Florida, 100 years of Gators.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's nice. Yeah. And could you tell me a little bit more about the 2006 celebration, what it entailed, and what happened that day?
Right. Well, we had T-shirts made. I think I sent you the picture of the T-shirt,
Mhm.
and it was done by one of the students here who had a little printing company at the time, Chris Joseph. And we did the T-shirts, and we marched from the Rights Union uh, to Tiger Hall, singing songs.
Mhm.
And on the front, and I don't know if I sent you pictures of the students that were there. Did I send you a picture of that?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay, well, I'll send you pictures of that as well because I did a PowerPoint presentation because I had to do a presentation for the Alumni Association for Jacksonville,
Mhm.
and I started thinking, a picture says a thousand words. So what I did was I just start taking pictures of the pictures that I have in my scrapbook,
Mhm.
and and then some of the things that I had not put in my scrapbook. And so I have pictures of that, and I have pictures of actually one of the students currently then, Lydia Washington. She's from Jacksonville. She's up in Massachusetts now, I think University of Massachusetts. She's been there for several years. But a picture of her shaking hands with Joseph McLeod.
Mhm.
And they had a table set up, and I think we were just signing as if when we were withdrawing in 1971, when we were withdrawing,
Mhm.
we had to sign papers at the registrar's office, which was in the basement of Tiger Hall. And so they had a book there. Instead of us signing saying we were withdrawing, I think we signed saying that we were in support of the withdrawal in the 70s. So it shows Joseph McLeod signing, and I think him shaking hands with Lydia. She was a very involved student activist here. I'm not sure what position she held, but she was very involved at the university.
And her name's Lydia.
Lydia Washington.
Okay.
Lydia.
Do you have any contact for her at all?
We talk back and forth on Facebook, and
okay.
She comes back and forth to Jacksonville because her family is there.
And she was also a part of Black Thursday then?
No. She was a student in 2006.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was like old meeting new with her and Joseph McLeod.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you have that PowerPoint, I'd love to see it when you have time to send it over.
It's in the whole PowerPoint.
Okay.
But I have it on my computer. I'm trying to fan through stuff. Yeah. I think I'd have to be able to share the screen and show it to you.
Oh, okay. That should let you. Oh, wow.
So, I can't see it behind all this other stuff. Okay, so I'll go at the very beginning of it. That picture there just shows me as being a part of the Lincoln High School band marching in Gator Homecoming, October 27th, 1967. This is my junior year in high school.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not sure. Can you see, or do I need to?
You might have to click to bring it up. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, that's me in high school. Officers back in 71. BSU demands. I'm still in the process of putting it all together because the scrapbook is falling apart, so I'm trying to preserve it.
Yeah.
This is Roy Mitchell, Kip Smith, and David. And at that time, we had a Black mayor. His name was Mr. Neil Butler. He's also a nursing student at UF.
Oh, wow.
This is an article that made Jet Magazine. Jet Magazine was the magazine. It was a weekly magazine for Black folk at the time, and it made Jet Magazine.
How many white students were in attendance at Black Thursday? I saw there were only 2 arrested, but I didn't know how many were.
There were an appreciable number. I would say, 15, 20 at least.
Okay.
Maybe more. This is one of the alligator pictures. This is actually a picture of one of my high school classmates' son. She and I both were attending University of Florida. This is Sheldon. He's probably 55 now or 60 years old. I've showed it to him, and he actually has a copy of it on his phone. That's a copy of my withdrawal form. And if you looked at it up close, it says reason for your withdrawal, and I wrote down there racial discrimination. I'm still trying to put it together. This is just Virgil Hawkins, who was one of the persons who tried for many years to enter law school at the University of Florida and was denied. And he was allowed George Allen to become part of that once he withdrew his application. This was another event, BAM, which happened in 1991 when student government withheld funds for BSU's Black History Month. And these are three people who came after 71 as a result of 71.
Okay.
Dr. Carlton Davis and his wife, Pauline Lawrence, and Dr. Ronald Foreman, who was in the Black Studies Department.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Mr. George Stark, who was the first admitted, myself, and then Mr. George Allen, the first to graduate from law school.
Oh, wow.
This is the picture about Black Thursday. This is Joseph McLeod, and these are the students who are signing the petition.
The petition for?
To an agreement with Black Thursday. And this is Lydia Washington.
Oh, wow.
With McLeod. And I'm just adding other pictures as I come upon them. This is Mr. Brigady. He was one of the two first to graduate from the College of Medicine. He lives in Jacksonville. This was an event for the Samuel Proctor Oral History Program.
Okay.
I think in 2018 in March. And this was Stephen Mickle. And his wife, she was also the first to receive a U.S. nursing degree.
Okay.
And Samuel Taylor, if you look in the Black History archives, you'll find out he was the first vice president for student government and also the first Black student government president.
Okay.
And he was from Gainesville. He went to Lincoln High School as well. And he was at that presentation. So I'm still in the process of getting it together.
Yeah, thank you. When you're finished with it or satisfied with it, if you don't mind sending it over, I'm sure they'd love to present that at the event on Black Thursday's commemoration. But speaking of the 2006 celebration, was there any pushback from that from the university or other students, or was it pretty peaceful?
No, it was peaceful. It wasn't anything different about it.
Yeah. And was that the only large-scale commemoration event that's happened?
That's the only one that I can remember. There may have been some celebrations on the plaza. There may have been something at Turlington, but that's the first major one that I can remember.
And as far as any type of commemoration, it's always the Black Student Union or something similar, but not UF in particular putting it on, correct? Okay. Just speaking about UF, do you think it should be their responsibility to educate students about this? Or do you think that's more responsibility of Black Student Union?
I think it could be a combination of both, but I think just like with other ethnic races or religions, that you tell your own story, because when someone else tells your story, it may not come out the way that you saw it. So that I think that there could be a combination of both, but I think that it's imperative that Black students and faculty and staff tell other Black students and faculty and staff so they'll know the story from that viewpoint.
And why do you think it's important for other students, just speaking on the 50-year commemoration, why should other students know about Black Thursday and attend these events?
I think they should realize the sacrifices that were made on their behalf, to see where the university is now and where it's going. I know the year that I retired, which was 2010, there were quite the upswing in the increase of numbers of percentages of students of color, especially African American students, was kind of stabilized. And at some point in time, right after that, it started decreasing. I know that we used to have a lot of effort toward recruiting Black faculty and students at the University of Florida, and especially students because I participated in it. There were trips made to high schools. I'm not sure whether they still do it in admissions, but to different high schools all over the state of Florida, definitely. Uh, and there were college fairs. Anytime there was a college fair, the University of Florida was there and represented. And even with grad students, I remember going on some trips for the grad school to different colleges, historically Black universities, colleges and universities, HBCUs, to talk about coming to the University of Florida as a graduate student. And so there were meet and greets with alumni, and alumni would go back to their high schools and recruit. I know way back when he's Mr. John Boatwright, the admissions officer, he was very adamant about recruiting Black students, going and letting them see Black students, and having Black students who were successful at University of Florida to go back home and, talk with their counselors and let them know that it was a place to come and all that. I don't know how strong those efforts are now, because I think the university assumes that, well, if you apply and you're good enough, you'll get in, and we're not looking at race, we're not looking at trying to recruit Black students, we just want good students, kind of a thing. And I know even athletes were used in the recruiting process as well. So I'm not sure what the efforts are now with that, because I'm not there. But I know there was a whole office set up, and there were dates set that you would be going to this particular college fair or whatever was happening, or there would be Gator. I guess the Gator clubs throughout the state would sponsor them and have events. But I don't know what's going on with that. But I know that there was a decline in the number of African American students that were applying and being accepted.
Yeah. Okay. And in my research, I also stumbled upon a meeting that President O'Connell had with the parents of the students arrested. I believe in your talk you said you hadn't been arrested, correct?
Right.
But did your parents attend that meeting at all?
No. And to tell you the truth, I keep trying to think back there. I wish my mother were still alive that I could ask her, but I don't even remember a conversation about protesting, going to the march, withdrawing. I don't remember a conversation about that. But as I said before, I'm not sure if I was talking to you. I've talked to so many different people. That particular year was right after they had closed Lincoln High School, and there was a lot of protest in the air in Gainesville, and a lot of animosity with educational institutions because Lincoln was the major outlet here for African Americans. The band, the chorus, football team, the basketball team, the swimming team, all state and everything, getting all kinds of awards, and they just shut it down after my class graduated from there. And the class that came after me, they went home for a winter break, and they didn't open back up in January. They were sent to Gainesville High School. And so protest was in the air. And there were a lot of African Americans that worked on campus in the custodial field, as well as grounds crew. And so they had seen a lot and probably heard a lot. And so I don't think that parents or anyone else really was against any kind of protest.
Yes. Okay. And speaking on your withdrawal, but then of course coming back to the university and getting more degrees here, would you say you're proud to be a Florida Gator, and everything with Black Thursday included, would you say you're so proud to be part of this university?
Oh yeah, I'm
Mhm.
proud. I'm proud.
Mhm.
Very proud, Gator.
Good. Okay. So those were all my questions. Unless you had anything else to add or you wanted to talk about.
No, I've seen so many different things come through. I get them confused because I
Mhm.
know that I'm working with Dana McPherson,
Mhm.
and I know they're doing an article. She sent me a copy of the article that they're working on
Mhm.
based on the Zoom call that we did
Okay.
last week. And I've also been in contact with Carl Vaness, who's working. He's in libraries,
Yes.
and he is working on something that we'll talk about tomorrow. So I'm not sure.
Mhm. Okay, perfect. Yeah, and I'll keep you in the loop with the email chain about the event happening on the 12th. But I appreciate your willingness to speak with us and help us along on this journey of remembrance.
Okay,
Um,
and you're with.
I'm doing my thesis for the history program on Black Thursday, but I'm working with the Samuel Proctor Oral History program for
Okay.
the panel. So, mhm.
Yeah, well, Paul, I've dealt with Paul a lot. So
Mhm.
his ask him about his the conference that we did. I think it was 2018, maybe 2009. No, it wasn't 19. 2018 probably we did. And those are the pictures that I showed you, the recent ones.
Yeah.
Yes, those
Okay.
are some of the people that were there, and I'm still trying to find all the other pictures that I took of people because they were in the book that I did as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you. And then, yes, if you have anything contact wise for Joe McLeod, we would love to have him too. But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll check. And Janice McPherson, that her son, the one that was holding up the sign, I probably can get a contact number for her as well.
Yes. Yeah, that would be great. Thank you. Mhm. Perfect. Well, that was everything I had prepared. Like I said, I just wanted to thank you again for all of your work, um, past and present. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much.